Good evening here from Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. This is the state that everyone is watching between now and Election Day, and as that vote counting happens on Tuesday our time and Wednesday your time. Pennsylvania is so tight, but so are the other states as well. We're looking at a few outliers at the moment. We've seen polling come in from places like Ohio that's really thrown a spanner in the works. There's concerns for the Trump camp in North Carolina. We've seen Kamala Harris today in Michigan and everything in between. I want to bring in former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and now consultant at Bondi Partners. I'm getting closer to you, Mick, not quite there yet. You are in South Carolina. Let's start by talking about North Carolina. What's going on there?
Keep in mind that there's some reporting that Harris is trending better here as we go up to the last couple of days before the election. But I always take these late pollings with a very large grain of salt, Laura, because face it, both sides have sort of a political motivation to make the argument that they are trending in the right direction. So these polls are not as detailed, not as reliable as the polls you and I have been talking about the entire year. But yeah, they are fairly favorable to Harris. I've seen polls that are favorable to Donald Trump in Virginia, of all places. So there may be a late surprise. That's not unusual in our elections. I still don't feel it. I think like those 6 or 7 swing states you and I have been talking about for over a year are still the 6 or 7 swing states.
And what trends are you seeing in those 6 or 7 states? Anything that's kind of raised alarm bells or otherwise to you, or is any unusual activity?
None whatsoever. What you've seen is Trump trending generally in the right direction over the course of the last 2 weeks. He sputtered a little bit over the last 4 or 5 days, in large part because of the comments regarding Puerto Rico that he made at a rally in New York City last weekend. But of course, then Joe Biden came in and gave Trump an assist by referencing all of Trump's supporters as garbage as well. So it's almost as if both campaigns are sort of stumbling to the finish here in the last 48 hours. The bottom line is this: there are no undecided voters left. In fact, there was a wonderful piece in the Wall Street Journal today from someone encouraging people that if you are still undecided, don't vote because you can't make up your mind and you shouldn't be voting. There are no undecided voters left. It's a question of who shows up in the next 48 hours. Keeping in mind, however, Laura, almost 75 million people, roughly a third of who will vote, have already voted.